I'm going to show you how to fix an unresponsive application using async and await. This demo is based on the theme of searching for movies. I have a simple console app that asks the user for a search string and then calls a static method called search movies, passing in that search string. Let's see how it might work. Notice that while it was searching, the application did not provide any feedback to the user or give a chance for the user to cancel the search. We want to fix that with the async and await keywords. If I jump down to my search movies method, I'll find this code where I have access to a movies database which has a find method on it. The find method returns an array of strings. The problem with this find method is that it takes a good while to perform the search, and while it is performing the search, the thread that calls it is tied up. But fortunately, this library has another method called find async. And if we mouse over this, we can see that the find async method returns something of task string. So now my code that was here will no longer compile because results isn't an array of strings, it's a task of an array of strings. Now I could manage that task manually. There are methods on there for waiting for when it is complete and being notified when there are exceptions. But the async and await keywords make it much simpler. When you have a method like find async here that returns a task, you can simply put the await keyword in front of the call to that method. Now you'll notice that I have the red squigglies because there is another step that I have to perform. And if I mouse over it, you'll see what it says. The await operator can only be used within an async method. Consider marking this method with the async modifier. So I need to jump up to where this method is defined. Here you can see my static void search movies, and I need to tell the compiler that this method is going to be calling asynchronous methods and awaiting them. And as soon as I added that async keyword, you may have noticed that the red squigglies under find async went away. And in fact, if I mouse over the var of results, you'll see that results is no longer a task of string, but it is a string array. Now this is pretty powerful, and what it does is the compiler breaks up our async method into multiple parts. It breaks up our method into a portion, the portion that is executed before the async, and it separates out the portion of the method that executes after the async method completes. So immediately after calling find async, and while we are awaiting its result, the thread that called it returns to the calling method. In our case, that would be back in main where we first called search movies. Here we are back in main, and you'll notice that when I call search movies, this time, because search movies is now asynchronous and we're awaiting an asynchronous result, you'll notice that the console write line awaiting results will immediately display. There it is, awaiting results. And then at some point, those results are going to become available and display. You've just seen a quick demo cast of using the async and the await keywords from C#5. 3 key points. It works with tasks, so you have to either create your own task or use a method that returns a task. Then you use the await keyword to say that you do not want the calling thread to sit around and wait for the results, but when they become available, then return to this point in your method and continue. And third, you need to use the async keyword to decorate any method that's going to have the await in it. There's a lot more to know about asynchronous programming and the task parallel library and even async and await and how they work in desktop applications.